You know, you have me all tied up, and we don't even have a safe word yet.
I was told you would be coming alone. Brought an old friend to see you. Dio? That's it.
So, Yuval David, it's an honor to host you today. Yuval David is an Emmy Award-winning actor, director, and filmmaker who has won over 100 international film festival awards and has played roles in shows and productions with ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, Hulu, Comedy Central, Disney, and others. And yet, and this is a big yet, since October 7, you choose to travel across your country, and I see you are now in Israel. Why are you in Israel now? What are you doing in Israel?
I'm in Israel now because it is the home of the Jewish people. No matter where we live around the world, it's a very magical thing to be home, to be in the land that is so integral in the definition of who we are as Jewish people, as Zionists. What I do in Israel is the same thing that I do in the United States, in Canada, and internationally. It's Jewish activism. It's supporting the Jewish people, supporting Israel, empowering all communities to focus on their values and do what is right. Anti-Semitism has been around for thousands of years. Whether it's called anti-Semitism, the hatred of Jewish people, anti-Jewish, anti-Zionist, anti-Israel, in all different types of manifestations, it's still the same thing. It's the hatred of the Jews. And what we need to do is not only fight forward against this hatred of Jewish people, we need to support each other and celebrate who we are, celebrate our identity and all its diversity. And our community is not only Jewish people. Our communities also of our friends, of our allies. We are one together. So while I'm in Israel, that's what I'm doing. I've been meeting with members of Knesset and ministers of the government, meeting with survivors from the Nova Festival and from the communities down south, with the families who lost loved ones, with people who have been injured, with injured and wounded soldiers, with organizations that I'm advising, and trying to make sure that we all do our best with that collaborative spirit. I was raised to be a Jewish activist and understand how important it is for all of us to practice Jewish activism. Even since October 7th, it's become clear for the Jews and the allies who have done nothing in the past. October 7th, we were attacked. October 8th, people who hate Jews woke up and started demonstrating around the world. They started to show their hatred of Jewish people. And what happened were the sleepy Jews, the quiet Jews around the world, the quiet allies, all of a sudden realized that all of us must be soldiers in this battle. This is a war we did not choose. This is a war that was thrust upon us and has been thrust upon us before. But right now what happened is it's unavoidable. I've been in the battle of Jewish activism for over 20 years, increasingly more and more active. We saw how much hatred there is and a lack of support, and now it feels like it's 100% of my time, just about.
You were one of the 400 personalities that refuted Glazer's speech at the Oscar Awards. What are your feelings when an Oscar-winning Jew attacks Israel in front of millions?
I think it's shameful. I think it's very upsetting when Jewish people who live outside of Israel are still trying to fit in, who try to say the right things so those who aren't Jewish will accept us. And the problem is that even after October 7th, we saw Jonathan Glazer's speech where he did the same thing, somebody who directed a film about the Holocaust. And it's truly a beautiful film. It's a film where you don't really see Jewish people in the telling of the Holocaust. And I thought, wow, what a spectacular film. But then he got up and he said the words that he said as he accepted the award. Jonathan Glazer's words not only are misguided, but they stem from possible misinformation, possible self-hatred, and those words are dangerous, especially on such a massive stage. You cannot separate Israel from the Jewish people. Saying that the Holocaust and October 7th and anti-Semitism and all of these things are mixed together or trying to separate one from the other is a problem. There is no separation of attacks on Israel. You cannot separate that from attacks on the Jewish people. When Hamas and Hezbollah and Palestinian Islamic Jihad and even Gaza civilians attack Israel, they did not yell Israeli, Israeli. They yelled Yahud. They yelled Jew. They attacked Jewish people, and they attacked people who collaborate with Jewish people.
You know what was surprising is Spielberg's silence. Spielberg does not appear in the letter we are talking about, the letter you just that was just published.
Right.
And in the Oscars, Mr. Spielberg didn't even say a word about the hostages or manifested any pro-Israel posture. What happened there?
Well, you should look at his wife's commentary. She is a proud Jewish activist. Steven Spielberg's family speaks out very openly in support of the Jewish people, in support of Israel as well. Steven Spielberg has also done a lot in support of the Jewish people. Now, the problem is, what is he doing publicly? Why is he not sharing about this publicly? He is one of the most prominent Jewish people in America. He's one of the most prominent Jewish people in the world because of his work. And because not only because of his films and his directorial prowess and the films that he's created, but also because of the Shoah Foundation, the USC Shoah Foundation, which he also created, how to capture testimonies. So what he's doing now is he's making sure that that foundation is also capturing testimonies from the survivors of the October 7th attacks. So I'm conflicted. Did I want him to openly speak out and post on social media and speak out on the news in support of the Jewish people, in support of the hostages who are still being held, who must be brought home now? Yes, I wanted him to speak out about that. Did I want him to speak out against Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, and the attacks of Jews? Yes, I want him and wanted him to speak out. Am I disappointed? Absolutely. But do I also look at the work that he's doing? Absolutely. He creates work to capture the testimonies, not just of Jewish people who survived the Holocaust, but Jewish people who have survived the October 7th attack. And so it's very interesting to see how he's shifting in his work to support the Jewish people.
Also, the surprising thing is that America used to be the best place to be a Jew. But after October 7, anti-Semitism rose to an unbelievable level in America. And do you know what happened to your country?
Do I know what happened to our country? Yes, because I've been in the battle against anti-Semitism for years, to the point that people used to tell me, oh my gosh, Yuval, por favor, you talk about anti-Semitism and Jews and anti-Semitism, and you talk about Jewish people and Jewish causes and Jewish things. It's like, oh, Jew, all the time. I saw the anti-Semitism not just coming, because anti-Semitism isn't rising, it's already risen. It's been around for a long time. Sometimes it was lurking in the shadows. Sometimes it wasn't out in the public eye, out in the open, in the light of day. But slowly we were seeing more and more of it, from white supremacists, from neo-Nazis, from jihadi groups, from Muslim groups, from Islamist groups. We are seeing it from other minorities who were looking at the Jewish people for whatever reasons that their anti-Semitism was sprouting and flourishing. So this was happening for a long time. The problems on campuses have been going on for many years, for decades, actually. Too many people ignored it. Too many people weren't listening to those of us who spoke out about anti-Semitism. And now, sadly, we can say, I told you so.
Wow. What were the signals, the signs that you saw?
Protests of Israeli speakers on campuses, synagogues being attacked, Jewish people being made fun of without proper support, without proper representation, without enough defense of Jewish people, not just in America, but internationally. We've had anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish hate crimes increasing for many years now. So what happened? October 7th was a gift for the people who hate Jews. October 7th was a gift for them to say, oh, now we have justification for why we hate Jews. Now we can claim that we hate Jewish people because of Israel, because we support Palestinians, because we support Hamas, because we call terrorism freedom fighting, all kinds of things that people were able to spin to justify their hatred of Jews. The hatred existed long before, and now it is morally and socially acceptable for people to hate Jews in public and in private.
And now America is exerting pressure on Israel because of the situation in Gaza. What do you think Israel should do? Because America is the greatest ally of Israel.
Absolutely. America is the greatest ally of Israel and has been for a very long time. There are people in Israel who say, well, if America isn't supporting us the way we need, should we continue this relationship? And the answer is we should absolutely continue this relationship. The relationship between Israel and America is vital for Israel and also is vital for America, because America has dealings around the world. And whenever America has dealings in the Middle East, it needs the safety that Israel provides. It needs the bastion of democracy that Israel represents and actually is. So we're seeing those in power in the United States, especially within the Democratic Party, who are saying things against the current government, against the administration, against certain policies. And that's a dangerous, dangerous place. The truth is, we know that President Joe Biden has always loved Israel and always supported Israel. One of the problems is there's an increasing voter base who's been protesting with their anti-Semitism, with their misguided, misinformed, anti-Jewish, anti-Zionist, anti-Israel sentiments. And what his administration and the Democratic Party needs to do now is to appease these people, to ensure that they will vote for Joe Biden. So Joe Biden and his administration is saying what they think they need to say to ensure they get the vote. That is the dangerous game that is played in the political landscape. People aren't always genuine.
I heard it's not about the Palestinian state, it's about the Michigan state.
Oh, that's yeah, the state of Michigan absolutely is the state that could affect a lot in the elections. And we know that there's a massive Muslim population there. So we're in a very difficult situation. People have asked me, do I support Trump or do I support Biden? Do I support one or the other? And the answer is that I give is that I have problems with both. Right now, I'm politically homeless. I've been a Democrat for my entire life. I've been a liberal progressive for my entire life. But now I'm seeing people within my own communities and my own parties who are saying and doing things against the values that I stand for and against the values that I thought they stood for. So it's a massive problem. What we need to do is to influence those in power, to remind those in power that we represent them just as much as they represent us, and to do what is right. The danger is politics is a dirty game.
Today, the press reported that Netanyahu criticized the international Hasbara. He reportedly said it was not only because of a lack of funds that it is not working, but the lack of persons that speak correct English. What is your opinion about that?
Netanyahu, even though I disagree with many of his policies, he has great English. He's a great speaker. That's how he managed to get into power, and that's how he managed to win people's hearts in the past. I agree with him. When Israel sends people, and he's part of the machine, so if he's criticizing the Hasbara that's happening, he's part of the problem. He's the head of the country. So if he thinks it can be done better, why isn't he making sure that he has people who do a better job? For us to hear people who have terrible English or terrible Spanish or terrible German or whatever languages they're speaking in, and they're trying to represent Israel, well, that's a problem. The benefit that we have as the Jewish people is we have so many smart, brilliant people who can do Jewish and Israeli advocacy and speak coherently and fluently and very well in all the different languages that we need. That's a problem that he needs to fix. That's a problem that Israel needs to fix. And we need to ensure that Israelis and our Israeli representatives don't only come to do hasbara, to do Israeli activism and advocacy from a place of telling everybody else what to do and what to think. They also need to listen. They need to ask, help me help you. How can I help you? What are the problems that you are facing around the world, and how can we support you? Because the truth is that the Jews from around the world have supported Israel and have supported Israel every single time Israel was in need, whether it's through donations or coming to Israel and supporting physically. There are so many different things that the Jews around the world and our allies have done to support Israel. And now Israel needs to make sure that it's also supporting us as we face this horrible rise in anti-Semitism.
If you were Netanyahu, what would you do about Hasbara, about media war? What would you do differently?
I would hire me. I would hire people like me and to really look and listen to the people who are doing advocacy, who are doing activism in support of Israel and the Jewish people, who do so passionately and do so in an informed manner, and help them help the country. It's about collaboration. There are people who do so because they care, who are activists because we care, because we truly care, and we would do it whether we're part of a machine or an organization or a company or working for and with a government, or if we're just doing it on our own. It's about listening to the people who are taking action and who are boots on the ground and supporting them. That's what a leader must do. The best leaders surround themselves with other leaders. It's a trickle-down effect.
When did your love for Israel start? Why are you so passionate? Your parents?
Yes. Yeah, all the answers of all these questions are going to be yes. I was born to Israeli parents in the United States. I have dual citizenship. I was raised to understand what it means to be a Jew. I was raised to understand what my Israeli identity means. I know why my family is small, from my grandparents who are Holocaust survivors who lost almost their entire family and friends. And then they fought immediately in the 48 war and in all these subsequent wars and battles, as did my parents. My parents fought for Israel. I was surrounded by people who fought for the country, and not only in the army, not only in the defense forces, but also politically and socially and within organizations. So I saw everybody doing that. I knew that that's what I had to do and must do as well. Nobody ever told me that I needed to do that. I just understood that that is my responsibility as a Jewish person.
Did you receive any threats?
Yes, all the time. I received death threats. I've needed more security at the events where I speak, because I'm on the speaking circuit and advocacy and meeting with politicians and communities and organizations and at all kinds of events and demonstrations and rallies. And I do this across the United States and Canada primarily and internationally. And I've needed more security. Now, I also get death threats across social media. I get so many hate messages on social media. So all your listeners and viewers and followers, please follow me. It would be so great to get positive messages, because the amount of hate comments that I get and direct messages that are filled with hate are horrendous. So what can we do? Because we, the Jewish people and the people who support Jewish people and Israel, are losing this battle on social media. There aren't that many of us. So what do I suggest that everybody does? 1 hour a week. Half an hour a week, however much time you can dedicate, go to the accounts of Jewish activists and click like on everything. Comment positively on as much as you can. Share their content, because if we do that, we can change the algorithms. The algorithms are promoting hashtag Free Palestine much more than they're promoting Am Yisrael Chai. The algorithms are promoting the things that are more popular. There are more people in the world who are against Jewish people and who are against Israel than there are Jews in the world. We have a lot to do, and we need to support each other. The social media platforms are vital in the way we share information these days. And it's all of us who together can change the way the algorithm works.
Thank you so much, Yuval.
Thank you.
I will definitely follow you, and and ask everybody that listens to this interview to follow you and change the algorithm like you.
Yeah, and we can all do it together. I mean, it's truly something all of us do. I do it myself. I go onto people's accounts, especially when I know that somebody's struggling with hate messages and hate comments, and I click like on things and I share their posts. You know, it's something we can all do. Even the people who don't want to post on social media, who don't want to be active on social media, even the ones who don't really want to look at it, a little bit every week, every day, however often you can do it, spend just a little bit of time to support the people who are speaking up, who are taking action, and are putting their whole brand out there.
Thank you very much, Yuval. Thank you.
Thank you.